Hey everybody, well you may have just finished watching the Broncos at Eagles game where the Broncos stole one at the link against the Eagles, but I'm not here to talk about that. I am here to talk to you about a formation and play that the Broncos employed along the way to the victory that came originally from my Eagle offense of the NFL playbook. You might remember that I released first in 2020 and then I modified it in 2021. And it was originally for John Gruden when I created it, of the Oakland, now called Las Vegas Raiders. At any rate, here's the playbook that I created right here. And for those who haven't seen it, this is the specific formation from the playbook, the Eagle offense for NFL football 2021. And it's actually available on Scribd. It is 4 wide receivers to one side, here the right side, with what I call the H-back here. And part of the standard play, the belly play, is the H-back going in motion left to right, from right to left here, and running this type of belly, I call it belly, as a hot read with a split end here running the up pattern. Note both sides we have the receivers on the line. Offline are the flanker, the tight end, and H here. Now, you can play around with who you want to be in the play. This could be, for example, a tight end here, which is what I favor. Then the halfback, fullback, flanker, and split end. That's actually what I meant, though. Split end, flanker, halfback, a fullback rather, halfback, and then tight end. So again, tight end over here, halfback, fullback, flanker, and then over here, split end. So the idea is to prevent the use of zone, force man-for-man coverage, and establish a number of situations where receivers are wide open because they either single covered, or in this instance, which would happen, there will be a moment where there's no one around the receiver at all. Now, this formation, I sent it to a number of people, including my friend Mike Taylor of the Raiders. I've known him for many, many decades, actually. And so what you're about to see next is this is what was used by the Raiders 3 years ago. After I sent it to Mike, he asked me if it can be used with Madden. As you can see, there was a modification. The tight end, this is Foster Moreau here, then halfback. The flanker here was actually Marcus Mariota. And note the Raiders put both receivers offline rather than having one receiver up, then back, leaving the split end over here up and the tight end on the line. Okay? Note that, because that's what the Broncos used. This play was ran with Derek Carr as quarterback. Foster Moreau executed a 27-yard catch over the middle here. Now, let's take a look at what the Broncos have done there. This was today. It's exactly the same formation as the Raiders ran, noted. However, flipped around, instead of on the right, they're on the left. See the tight grouping here with the tight end up, halfback down, and of course the receivers down here, right? Tight end on the line, and then of course over here, split in up on the line as well. So that's how they have the lineup. And so, but rather than go in motion, neither team used motion. In fact, the Broncos basically copied what the Raiders copied in working from my my playbook. Now, you would say, okay, is it really your playbook? And I said, yeah, here's why. Here's the evidence that, and I should actually be careful how I show this, because I don't want to show someone's, I don't want to show someone's email in unintentionally, of course. But here is, if I get this right here, right here, where you can't see his email, but you can see my reference to Mike. All right. Zennie Abraham's Eagle offense for John Gruden attached. So I sent it to Coach Gruden, and here's the original date that I sent it. That's 4/3/2022. Where I sent the adjusted 2021 version. And so Mike, I sent it to Mike, and we had a little exchange about it, since there was 5. And but he was kind enough to write back. I sent it both to Mike Taylor and to Will Kiss. Will Kiss was the Raiders PR guy then and now. And Will has actually taken plays from me and given them to John, which John has used. Okay. At any rate, and so Mike wrote, let's see here. He said, see here. Actually, I did give it to him last year, but let me see here. All right, that was 2022. And that was the annual meeting. Okay, yeah. So at any rate, yeah. And so basically, he had joked, I'm not going to put out there that, but he asked if it could be used with Madden. So I sent it to Mike Taylor and Will Kiss, and between the two of them, it wound up in the hands of the Raiders and employed. The Raiders had never used that kind of formation before my email exchange. I hadn't seen unlike my other play that I gave to John in 2018, I haven't seen this one replicated very much at all until today. And again, this is the formation. I think Sean Payton's on a mini crusade of using asymmetric 4 wide receiver sets. Asymmetric because the 4 wide receivers are on one side. So he's used a variation of these in his game plans this year. This is the latest one. So you wonder where he gets the ideas from, and well, there you are. I'm glad to see someone finally understanding the good sense of using this type of formation to really force the defense into the kind of man-for-man coverages you want it to play in crucial moments when you're trying to get your key receivers wide open for a first down. And that's certainly what happened in this instance. So, for example, if you go back to the play here, I'm going to make sure it's on mute there. Yeah, and it is. And so let's have a look at what was executed by the Broncos. As you can see there. Yeah, and so Nix goes back to throw. And really, the way they ran it, the tight end came outside and went inside toward the middle. The back went around him, but instead of keeping going, he hooks up. So he stops right there, sees wide open, and makes the catch. And then he runs. Doesn't quite get the first down, but he does get close. But it played a crucial role in March for what was an eventual field goal that put the game all but out of reach, causing the Eagles to need a touchdown to win the contest, which didn't happen. So again, this is a year of great advancements in the NFL, and it's great to see that the two concepts of plays I've come up with are being employed in NFL offenses today. I think one day I'll make a video of combining both of them so that people can see what my thinking was about. And I think it's at some point in time that I make a full playbook of my thoughts, just to get them out there. All right. Subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube and bookmark ZennieReport.com and NFL News by Zennie62.com. Thanks.